Hey, everybody, and welcome to Ash-Phalt, the podcast all about life on the road. I'm your host, Ash Taylor, and today we have a very special guest, Miss Taylor Hughes. Taylor, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on. I'm so excited we could do this.
Oh, I'm so excited to have you. So Taylor, we've known each other for years, I feel like. I don't even know how long, but I love Taylor. You guys are in for a treat. Taylor is honestly just one of my best friends. She is a very talented singer-songwriter, incredible vocalist, and just a super cool chick. So I'm really excited that you agreed to, oh yeah, no, of course. I genuinely mean that. So when you agreed to come on, I was like really excited. I'm like, oh, this is going to be such a fun episode. So
I'm excited.
Yeah. So Taylor, to start, tell us a little bit though, for people, that are new to you and your music. Tell us about you, where you're from, what you do, and kind of how you became Taylor Hughes. Talk to us about that.
So I'm originally from Lexington, Kentucky. Go Big Blue.
Yeah.
I've been singing. So it's kind of funny how I got into the music industry. Like I've been singing since I was in preschool. We have really funny home videos of me like pushing my way to the front of like the preschool shows. And I'm like, shh, be quiet, let me sing kind of thing. So like how people didn't know that this was what I wanted to do was kind of shocking. But just growing up, I was also kind of shy. So that was probably part of it, which I know me shy. What is this?
Hard to imagine. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And I was just always like kind of the shy kid, very much just like a people watcher. Like, I don't know. I just always was kind of like in the back, and I have a huge family, like cousins and aunts and stuff like that. So like everyone else was just always kind of like louder than me. And I was just always the like chill kid. But I secretly always wanted to sing. I'd sing, I was always part of like school choirs. I went to Catholic school for a while, so I always sang in church. But I never did anything like solo, and I never told anybody like, oh, singing is what I want to do. But I also probably didn't even realize it was something I could do per se. Like you see like your favorite artist and you're like, man, I really want to do that. But sometimes it just like doesn't click that like, right. Oh, you can do that. Right.
Yeah.
Until you hit like a certain point of your life. But I really didn't even start like truly diving into like, hey, this is what I want to do till I was probably about 17, 18 years old. I was heavily involved in athletics. I was I don't want to say star athlete, but like I was very dedicated. I had college scholarships to go to a few different schools on a volleyball scholarship. So like that's what I thought my path was. And then my junior year of high school, I had a career-ending injury in my knee. I still hobble around like an old lady with my bad knee. But like, it was just something I couldn't recover from. And I was like, well, what else am I going to do? Like maybe I dive into music. So I asked my parents, hey, can I take guitar lessons? And of course they were like, well, sure. Like you need a hobby. Why not?
Yeah.
Not knowing like where this is going to lead, just thought something like I'd want to do, which is also funny because I actually took vocal training as a child. Like I couldn't tell you anything these days about it, but like I was initially like, I think 3rd or 4th grade, I took private lessons and was trained in Italian opera. I know.
Really?
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Which is funny that like my parents were so shocked as we get older. Like we'll fast forward here in a minute, but like, yeah, like when my first memories of like actual vocal training, like I was trained in Italian opera. I absolutely loved it. But we ended up like stopping it because my teacher had to move away for whatever reason. I think he was getting married and the girl he was married lived in a different state, whatever it was. I don't know. But yeah, can't sing any Italian opera now. I used to. But fast forward, I decided to start taking guitar lessons. My dad took me, and come to find out my guitar teacher, who is still someone that like, he plays in a bunch of my shows. He does some touring with me. We're still very good friends.
Love that.
Basically family.
Yeah.
He was someone that my dad and my dad's siblings babysat like way back in the day. Right.
Wow.
So it was like, oh, full circle moment. Like we were meant to meet, right? So I had a few lessons with him, maybe knew like 2 or 3 chords, but he had like, I don't know why, but we were like, oh, do you songwrite? And so we started like writing songs. They were not good. But we started diving into that, and he realized that I could sing, and I was like, oh, I dabble in it. Like I don't really sing out in public by myself. And he was like, no, you sing. And he told my parents that he wanted to take me down to Nashville for this TV Comcast called Nashville Spotlight. I don't think it's on anymore, but it was on for a long, long time.
Cool.
And my parents were very confused. They were like, what are you talking about? There's no way she knows how to play guitar. Like, yeah, she's only had a few lessons. And he was like, no, Taylor sings. Like, she's really good. And they were like, what are you talking about? Which, backtrack, you put me in vocal lessons as a child. And
right.
I don't know. Maybe they just forgot. I don't know.
Yeah.
Parents are. But then we came down here because my parents were like, okay, sure. And let's remember, I don't know how to play guitar yet. So I'm singing to backing tracks. And I think I did Stay by Sugarland. And then I can't remember who originally sings it, but that song called Heaven, a ton of artists have covered it.
Okay.
But it went really well. I was scared out of my mind. You may or may not be able to find videos of it on YouTube. I'll let you all do the searching if you want. But this TV show loved me. A bunch of the fans that were there loved it, and they invited me to become like just a regular member of the show. And I think they did it like quarterly, so we'd start coming down ever so often. So I guess you could say I kind of got my start in Nashville, and it was at the Nashville Palace, which is still a super popular venue here today. But we left the venue that day, and everyone was like, oh my God, we can't wait to have you back. And my parents are like, okay, yeah. And we leave, and they're like, were you lip syncing? And I was like, nope, this is me. Like I sing. And that's kind of where I got my start. Once I hit of age of 21, we started singing in bars. I was doing 3 to 4 shows a night in like my hometown of Lexington and like surrounding areas, and they were 4-hour shows, so you can imagine how fun that was.
Right.
Starting at 10 o'clock at night, not leaving the bars till 3 a.m., but it really was an absolute blast. So that's kind of how I got my start. And while I was doing that, I was in college for a little bit. And then I got to a certain point and I was like, you know what? Like, I can't pursue this 100% while I'm in school. So I went to my parents and was like, I think I'm going to drop out. And most parents would have been like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think so. But, my parents were like 100% like, all right, if you're doing this, like, there's no plan B. Like, this is it. And we go hard and we go all the way. Right. Which is very like unusual, but so encouraging and so amazing. And my parents have been super supportive of me throughout my journey. But then back in, so I started touring a little bit more and knowing eventually I would need to move to Nashville, which is where I am now. I've been here for a little over 7 years. And I met my husband while I still lived in Kentucky. And he knew that like music was my dream. This is what I wanted to do. So it was basically kind of, hey, if you want to marry me, like we're moving to Nashville. And like, I don't know why, but he was like, okay. So I know it takes a very special person to be married to an artist, whether like they're a singer or just a songwriter. Like creatives are just weird. Like,
yeah.
We're very unpredictable. So that's kind of like, I don't want to say the short version, but shorter version
right.
of how I got here. So.
I love that. I have to say, I just learned a couple of things that I did not know about you,
right.
and I thought I knew a lot, but like now I'm going to start requesting for you to sing opera every show we play together.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you started with what?
Yeah, and like Italian opera. I could not tell you any Italian right now, but like, yeah, that's what I used to like.
That's incredible.
It was between like 2nd and 4th grade. I know it was like way young, like early elementary school. And I have no idea how I even got into it. I can't remember why we started doing it. I don't know.
That's That's amazing.
Maybe one day I'll add an Italian opera song to my set.
Sure. I love it. It's like you have like the country blues rock thing, and then all of a sudden it's like just straight up Italian opera. People are like, what the hell just happened? I think that's incredible. That's awesome. I have to say too, you were talking about your parents and them just kind of going along with it, and then just, clearly being big supporters. I love your mom and dad. Mama and Papa Hughes, they really are. Like, I love your parents, and I feel like they are super just awesome and encouraging and supporting. And I feel like because of our friendship, I feel like sometimes like they've even come to shows I've played and just supported or, just stuff online. So I just love your whole family. They're all just great. But
I'm very blessed, and they follow all my friends and their careers, and they try to be supportive of them too. I think you gotta cheer each other on,
Yes, absolutely. I wanted to ask too, clearly, like you said, it sometimes can be kind of hard to be, to have a loved one who is an artist, whether, they're a musician, painter, whatever. It's like, we're just kind of like our own breed. How has having though that support system of, say, like, your husband, your parents and all, do you think that's helped you basically move along further in your career? Do you think you could do what you do today without them? Like, how do you feel about having that support system?
Yeah. So there are definitely, like, I do not think that I'd be where I'm at all today without my parents and my husband, because they have all sacrificed a whole lot to help me get to where I'm at. Especially, like, obviously my parents have been doing this a little bit longer than Drew has.
Right.
But like the time and the money and the travel and the things that are sacrificed, like special events, or just like late nights, or where I've been on tour for a month and haven't seen my husband, and we can only have time for like a 5-minute phone call. What are you eating? Oh, I'm eating this. You're eating that? Okay, cool. I'll see you later. Like very like odd like phone calls and stuff. So I'm super blessed. I think to have that support system, because that's not always the case in this industry. This is a very like uncertain thing. Like, it's not like where you go to school and you get your degree and then you get your first big girl job and then you get promoted and stuff. Like, no one knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So like, it takes a lot of faith, and a lot of grit and a lot of grace, to be a part of it. Not only just on the artist side of it, but people who are supporting you and who have such a strong part of your life. I will say, I don't want to say it can be difficult going into the industry married versus going into it single for, I think, a woman. And these are just things that like I've experienced. And I know like some of my girlfriends that are married and stuff have and you might've experienced this too. You're still kind of a newlywed. Yeah. Right. That's like, it's hard to, market yourself when you're taken, if that makes sense. So, the guys, it's easy. They get on stage and all the girls are like, "Whoa, we love him." And then like, the guys are like, "Oh, he's cool. I want to be like him." But for a female artist, sometimes it's hard because, girls get jealous of you, maybe if like their guy likes you, but then they find out that like you're married, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I'm not interested in watching her anymore." Right. I don't know if like I've talked to people that have experienced that, and I've experienced that, or like kind of like in Nashville, like networking, a lot of it is very like drinking and going out late at night and being around, a lot of single people. Well, coming into the industry and you're like, I'm not interested in like being hit on, and I'm not interested in feeding your ego. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things, like, as a married woman, like, I like to go out and have a good time, but like, I'm not trying to do that without my husband. Right.
Right. Right.
So, or like my husband probably doesn't want me out gallivanting at 2 a.m. on Broadway for networking. So like, I guess for women who are like single and they don't really have any other responsibilities in that kind of world, it might be easier for networking because they don't have anyone to answer to, I guess, if that makes sense. But like, I definitely like, I don't know where I'd be without my husband. Like, I'm very, very lucky in the situation that I'm in, that I'm able to pursue music 100% of the time. And like, there are months where like, I am just rolling, we're making money, we're, you know, doing the thing. And then there's months where it's like, oh my God, how am I going to make $1? You know?
Right.
Like, and so like, I'm very lucky to have a husband that like has a very steady job, that he's like, you chase your dreams, you make this happen. We're not going to live in a box. It's going to be okay.
Right.
Even though like I have these panic modes still, because like for me, and this just might be like how I was raised, like my work ethic is to like not stop. And if like I feel like I'm not contributing in some kind of way, I feel kind of like useless. So luckily I have a husband that's like, it's okay, we're gonna be fine. Everything is okay. Like, music is supposed to be fun. And I'm like, it is fun, but it's also stressful. You know, so like there are pros and cons to like how you I guess I don't want to say manage, but like the way that you live your life, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's the thing. Cause, you know, talking about like being single or whatever, I was single clearly when I moved here to Nashville, you know, and all that. And so, you know, I have to go to the bars and network and do all this stuff or whatever. And then, you know, I met my now husband, but you know, the thing I think is that I've been really blessed with is the fact that Chris, my husband, you know, is my band leader and lead guitar player. So we're always together and we always travel and whatnot. But, you know, I think, something that is kind of interesting. I think that like, there's a lot of people out there that where you're very right. It's like, I think if you're a woman in the industry, it's like this idea that you have to be super sexy and you have to appear available and you have to be this and you have to be that. And I don't know if I'm just getting old and my give a shit is just off, but like
my give a shit is
my give a shit is gone, like straight up. But you know, I've really just come to realize like this thing where it's like, even, you know, like with drinking alcohol, I actually, you know, like I said, I was in the bars and I was playing shows and everything, but I've actually been sober for almost 4 years. And it's like, I've been sober for 4 years and I got my health back and all this stuff. And when I started to do that, I liked myself better. You know, I became a better version and a better artist and all this stuff. And so I nowadays like, cause you know, I used to get so caught up in this stuff. And nowadays I'm like, you know what? If I'm good with the Lord above, if I'm making music I'm proud of, I do not give a shit. Like, if you're like, oh, she's taken or whatever, I'm like, well, then I probably don't make music for you, buddy. So peace out. You know, because
like I'm not here to find a husband. Like,
I'm not here to. I got one, and
I got one of those.
Yeah,
and he's already a handful.
Yes, I got my hands full. I can barely keep up with him. He also plays guitar really good, and he cooks. So I'm like, listen, I'm so married. It's whatever, you know. But no, I love though that you said that. You know, we were talking backstage about kind of reasons why I started this podcast. And there's a lot, but one of them is like, I want to kind of talk about, because everyone thinks it's so glamorous, right? Being a musician and being on the road and it's this and that. And there are those moments, hands down.
Absolutely.
But that's not a full representation of what it's like. And so I think even thank you for being brave to say, yeah, so I feel like this and like this. And do you struggle with that? It's like, I love that. Like, thank you.
I think I've gotten to the point in my career where like, cause like maybe if you would have asked me that like 5 years ago, I'd been like, yeah, it's fine. It's great. But like now, which, you know, I know we'll talk about this later, but like pregnancy will do that to you too.
Oh,
where, like,
yeah.
Your tolerance for BS is like gone.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, I don't have the energy for this. You do not deserve my energy.
Preach it. Yes.
Like, you just want to surround yourself with people who actually are there for the right reasons. And, you know, my husband is very much one of those people, like, he is a quality over quantity person.
Yes.
And I've always been like, I love everybody. And he's like, no, we don't love everybody. And I'm like, we do. And he's like, no. And now, like, I'm kind of like, I'm still very much a people person.
Right.
Like, that's just kind of the industry that I'm in. Like, you gotta love people. And I do. But I have also started to become where, like, I'm a little more picky or I don't want to say picky, but more selective about who I let into my circle, because like I said, I ain't got time for that nonsense. Like,
right.
I got enough of issues. I don't need anybody else's drama.
Yes. No, exactly. Well, and like, good for you. Yeah. Cause like, I also think though that in order to be an artist and to go do what you do, you have to be a people person. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's a requirement. Like, right? It's
right. If you don't like people, you are doing the wrong thing.
Yes, absolutely.
This is probably not the job.
Not the job for you. Yeah. No, definitely not. Definitely not. You kind of mentioned it already, but I want to talk about this beautiful baby that is on the way. So congratulations. Yes. As you pat the belly.
My big belly.
Yes. So you're going to be a mama. When is the baby due?
She is due July 6th. So everyone's rooting for a July 4th baby. And I'm like, that sounds like a nightmare.
Right.
Could you imagine trying to get to the hospital and there's like parades going on and traffic? And like, I guess we could get like a police escort and feel fancy, but like,
I mean, that's an option. Yeah.
I guess so. But like, that just sounds kind of scary. I mean, I've never had a baby to begin with, so, that's always fun. But, Drew just wants her to have like a built-in birthday party every year. So we those fireworks are for you.
Yeah. I was just going to say that. I'm like, I mean, I guess the 4th of July would probably be a good one to have your birthday on, just because you got, everyone's already together. You were already doing fireworks. Like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I am so happy for you, like over the moon excited for you guys. And I love that the family's getting bigger. So one thing I wanted to talk to you about is, what is it like though? Playing shows, touring, traveling, all this, being pregnant. What is that like?
It has been an adjustment. I will say it's funny. I've got some other girlfriends who I've talked to one-on-one, and they're like, man, I really want a baby. And like, they're in the music industry too, right?
Yeah. And
they're like, but I just don't, like, I don't know how to do it. How do you do it? And I'm like, I'll let you know when I figure it out. Like, so it's also kind of weird to like be in that position where like, I have friends in the music industry that are ready to have babies, but their husbands are like, it's probably not a good time right now. And like, for us, my husband's been wanting kids since like the moment he saw me, and like, it took me a little bit to get to that point. Just because like, I'm very career driven. But yeah, it's been an adjustment. I knew I was pregnant way early, like probably earlier than most women do. But so I was pregnant. I got pregnant last year in October. There's probably TMI.
Like I said, it's a real podcast. It's real life. Yeah.
If you do the math, you can figure it out, right?
Right. Yeah.
But my first trimester, I had to cancel a lot of co-writes. I had to cancel a lot of shows. Luckily, it was kind of during the holidays, so like it wasn't too crazy because your family and stuff.
Right.
But like, I was so sick that like I couldn't function. I couldn't eat. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't exercise. But like, I couldn't tell anybody why, because we weren't telling anybody yet. So like, I'd have to like call people and be like, hey, I got to cancel this co-write. I think I have the stomach bug, or like, I think I have the flu, or and like, now they're like, you were pregnant. And I'm like, yes, but I couldn't tell you that.
Right.
So like, that was a little bit of an adjustment. And for someone like me who works, and like also is like, how am I going to pay like my part of the bills? Right. I was like freaking out because I was like, what am I doing? I can't even leave my couch. Like, what do I do? What is this? And then, I started to get better and stuff, and we started diving back into shows and stuff. So it's just one of those things where like, you're not playing shows, and then you start playing a lot of shows, but then you get to a certain point in your pregnancy where you're like, oh, you're not supposed to be, you can't fly, or it's not safe to travel like a certain amount of distance. So like, we are in May, and I'll be 32 weeks this Saturday. So like, I'm in the final stretch, and like May for me is like super busy. And like, this is kind of my last month of being really busy. So I'm just trying to figure out like, okay, how much can I push myself to like, which is, because I don't know how to turn it off. I am just
Right.
work. And people are like, you just need to relax. And I'm like, I don't know the definition of that word. Like, what is relax, And I've also been struggling to sleep. So like there are still times where like if I have like vocal training early in the mornings, I'm like, listen, I can't do this right now. And she's like, I understand. Like, it's fine. She's like, this is not forever. Like, this is just a season, which I have to constantly remind myself that like, this is just a season. And this is not like the end of my career, which I know I've had some people be like, oh, is she not going to play music anymore? And I'm like, this whole idea that like just because someone in the music industry wants to have a baby that their career is ended, no one asks a man that. Like there are plenty of male artists that have like 10 children. No one asks them if their career is over, so I'm always like very much like, no, I'm not stopping what I love and what I believe I was put on this earth to do. We're just adding another family member,
And I love that, Taylor. Cause like, I think a second ago we were talking about like husbands and appearing available and all. It's like, this kind of goes back to, if someone says like, oh, she's getting pregnant, I guess she's stopping. It's like, okay, my give a shit meter goes off again. It's like,
yeah,
because but you're right. And it's like, yeah, that's super unfair. But I always think like as artists, right? We're supposed to be writing songs and making music about our life. So how do you expect us to actually do that if we don't live our life, if we don't fall in love, get married, pursue what makes us happy, have children? Like, it's like, then our songs will be no good. So, that's how I view it. So to me, it's like you're having a whole experience right now, which is this beautiful, incredible thing. And I know you're going to be an amazing mama and stuff. And so I'm just happy for you. And if anyone says that, you send them my way and I will punch them right in the face.
That's what my husband says. He's like, you want me to say something?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's fine. And I think sometimes people just forget that like artists are human. Like, we are. Well, and like,
it's true.
We're just like anybody else. Like we have lives outside of our career.
Yeah.
And, there are people that are doing it like Raylyn and Lauren Elena, Maddie and Tay. Like there are women out there that have children or have multiple children that are still out there killing it. Carrie Underwood, I know she's a huge star and she was a star before she had kids, but like she still has kids,
Yeah.
And, I almost find it, I don't know if the word insulting is the correct way, but maybe it is. But like, I find it odd that you think that, not you, but like when people ask that kind of thing, like you think I can't do it?
Right.
You think I can't be a mom and do my job? Like there are plenty of badass women out there that are like doctors or lawyers and stuff like that. And no one looks at them, they're like, oh, I guess you're quitting your job. Like, no, they go on maternity leave and then they go back to work. And I know like I am not oblivious to the industry that I'm in. I know it is difficult. It's difficult without a child. Like, so I don't feel like I know it'll be hard, but that doesn't mean I can't do it.
Right. Well, and again, you have a great support system, already built in with your husband and your parents and, just great friends surrounding you. So I know too, like, I was sitting here thinking, so I think it's November. I believe you're actually going on a Texas tour. Is that correct?
Yeah. So, we're going on tour again.
Woohoo. Okay. So like, tell us about that, for starters. What's going on with that?
Yeah, so I'm really excited. We went on tour in Texas last year. We did like a 2-week stretch, and it was just me and my dad. He was the roadie and drove me everywhere, thank God. But we had a super packed tour. I mean, I played 9 different cities in 2 weeks, and I think I had maybe like 2 days off. Like I went in and was like, "We're going hard. Here we go."
Yeah,
I don't recommend that. But, it was my first time in Texas and like, I wanted to make the most of it. But yeah, this time around I'm going with Crystal King. Her and I are doing a little duo acoustic tour. It'll be about like a week and a half, kind of like that. So it won't be as long. But we're hitting some new areas that I've never been to, some areas she's never been to. But yeah, it'll be interesting trying to navigate that because obviously I'll have a newborn and, she's due in July. So we'll have some time to kind of recoup and get ourselves ready. And then hopefully everything goes well and her and daddy are fine at home without for a little bit, he'll probably be like, what do I do with you? And she'll be like, who are you? What are we doing here? But no, we're really excited. I love Texas. It is very much like my style of music just kind of really fits down there, and the fans are great. I have a great fan base down there. And Crystal's one of my best friends. So like her and I write together all the time. So we're really excited. We've actually never been like on tour together, and we've been friends for as long as you and I have.
Wow.
And we write a ton of music together, but we've only played like a few like Nashville shows together, but we haven't actually like gone out and done anything else. So this will be fun. But we're going to start, announcing those shows and stuff eventually. But we're, in the booking process, trying to finalize everything. And, we're going back in the fall, which is great because I went in September of last year and it was so hot. I was like,
I can't imagine.
Why didn't you all warn me?
Yes.
Like, you come a little later. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. You're like, thanks for telling me that now when I'm here sweating, playing.
Oh, God.
Oh, man. Well, we love Crystal King. We actually, I'm not sure if it will already be out when we air this episode, but we just had an interview with her. Actually, I taped it earlier today. So she's going to be on the podcast as well. And we had a blast. So, and man, I wish I could be in Texas to see those shows because I'm sure you ladies are going to rock it.
I'm so excited. We'll fly you in. Come hang out with us.
I was going to say, I'll come hang out. But no, that sounds like a lot of fun. Are there any other shows that you have going to be coming up here anytime soon that you're kind of really excited about and looking forward to?
Yeah. So I host a lot of rounds at the Listening Room. So we've got that coming up in the end of May, but this will probably be out before or after the show. But so we've got that coming up. I'm playing some private events in Kentucky. I've got, just a few like local shows, just trying to keep it close to home for a little bit, because last thing we need is to go into labor while on the road.
Yeah.
In the middle of a show. But I keep all my tour dates posted on my website. I'm trying to think of what else we've got going on. The plan is to get back into music mid to late September. So I'll be traveling then.
Cool.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
Tons of stuff going.
I love it. So if people wanted to go to your website to check out your tour dates and everything, what's your website so they can go check it out?
Yeah, it is taylorhughesmusic.com. And then you'll see the just little tour tab at the top. We're also doing some of this on the Texas tour, but we're starting to dive into like more house concerts and stuff like that, which is really cool. I'm really excited to get into that. So if you all are interested in doing a house concert, reach out to me. We're doing it, solo. We can do full band. We're going to do it, duo. So like maybe me and Ashley will do a show for you, or we'll have Crystal come in and do like a songwriters round kind of thing. So we're trying to think of like new and fun ideas for the fans that aren't just your traditional, like go out to the bar kind of thing. Yes.
Oh no, I love that. We all check it out. Also, you recently, I believe it was back in March, put out a brand new single called Old Fashioned You. I love this song. This is so cool. So smooth. Tell us about the single. This is awesome.
Yeah. So this is a song idea that I came into the writing room with Crystal. And I was like, how funny would it be if we wrote a song comparing the different types of men we've dated to different types of drinks? And y'all already know each person has their signature drink, and it kind of has like a personality that goes with it, right? Being from Kentucky, we love our bourbon. We love our old fashions. So
yes.
We had to kind of throw that in there. But it actually came together pretty fast. And it was really funny because Crystal gets a kick out of like my stories and stuff. I'm like, well, I dated this guy, you know, and she's like, Jesus Christ. And I'm like, this is definitely that kind of drink, you know? But it's just a fun, upbeat song that'll get you dancing, maybe have you questioning your love choices, you know? Because sometimes we just like overcomplicate love, and the best kind of love is just a simple and classic one, like an old fashioned.
Yes.
Right? But what's funny about, you know, this particular release and promoting it was we recorded it last year, like towards the end of last year, and I wasn't pregnant yet. And then like once it was kind of ready, I became pregnant, and I was like, oh, this will be fun to promote a pregnant lady talking about drinking. You know, and so it's been interesting, but the fans have really been loving it, and it's been picked up by some major radio stations, which is really cool.
Awesome.
So especially like back in Kentucky, like 92.9 iHeartRadio, stuff like that, I've been picking it up, which is really cool. So call your local radio station and tell them to play it. And if they don't have it, tell them to get on it. You know,
that's right. That's right. I've also seen online a little bit that you recently won some awards and then got nominated for some awards. Please feel free to brag about yourself as you share about that.
It always feels so weird talking about this.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, I did this and I did this, and I'm like, oh God, like,
yeah.
But last year, last year was such an incredible year with all the tours that we went on and music awards. You know, last year, back in Kentucky, I won Song of the Year with my song Jesus in Jail. And I also won Female Vocalist of the Year in Kentucky. And then at the end of the year at the Josie Music Awards, I won Southern Rock, Country Rock Female Vocalist of the Year, which was really cool because it's at the Grand Ole Opry. So you get to go on stage and accept your award, and no one knew I was pregnant. And I was like, but like I knew, and they were like, why aren't you drinking? And I was like, I just don't feel like it tonight, you know? Yeah. That was fun. And then this year, I had a handful of nominations in Kentucky for the Lexington Music Awards, and then I just got notified that I have 3 nominations in the ISSA Awards, which is the International Singer-Songwriters Awards. I think that's
awesome.
Award. So I received 6 nominations prior to the finalist round, and I think I'm pregnancy brain here. I'm up for, in the finalist rounds where like the professionals vote on it. I'm up for Entertainer of the Year, Female Rising Star, and Female Emerging Artist. So those are in August. So hopefully we, win something there. And then of course we'll fingers crossed that we get some nominations for the Josie Music Awards, which I think they're going to start announcing those, or they've already started. So we'll see. Who knows? It's always such an honor because there's so many talented people out there to get, acknowledged for the work that we're doing. It's really cool.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, my friend. That is awesome and very, very happy for you. So we do a little segment here on the show that we like to call Road Rundown, which is basically I'm going to ask you some questions and it's just have some fun. Oh, so for starters, what's one thing that you never hit the road without? Like, what is the one thing you got to grab when you head out on tour?
Oh, food. Like I know I'm weird, but like I'm the person who like I bring a little cooler and like because I get hungry a lot. So like, I try to stay hydrated and stay fed because a hangry Taylor is not a happy Taylor. So like, yes. Nobody wants to deal with that. And I'm pretty easy to like please. Like if I'm mad, I'm probably just hungry. So always gotta have your snacks, gotta have your drinks, things like that.
Okay, so if you're on the road somewhere and you pull into a gas station, what is like your go-to snack? Like you're like, I'm going right here, grabbing this. What is it?
Ooh, I know this is gonna sound really boring, but I'd probably grab a protein bar. Gotta keep that protein energy. Yeah, I know I'm weird. And I will probably grab a bag of peanut M&Ms.
Oh,
It's called balance.
Yeah, it's called balance. Well, and don't peanuts have protein? Isn't that a thing? Yeah.
You see a little extra protein in there.
A little extra protein. I love though how healthy you are. I mean, you're weird, but that's probably why we're friends. That's probably why we get along. So I'm like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. What about like drinks? Like when you're, on the road, just stopping to grab something other than water. I feel like we all drink a bunch of water, right?
Coffee. I love my cold brew coffee.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm about that cold brew life, and I really like either whipped cream or cold foam on top.
Oh.
So like I always have my coffee. And I also really like, I know we said water, but like I really like Propels.
Oh.
Like the kiwi strawberry Propels. I really like those.
I like that. I like that. Yeah, good stuff. So in your set, every night, every show, is there like a favorite song that when like it comes around in the set and you get to play it, you're just like, yes, I love this song. Do you have one?
Oh, that's hard. There's a few that are like that. Pretty much anything Miranda. Like, and I probably know her whole catalog. I love playing her stuff. But there's also some stuff like, I love playing, Wanted Dead or Alive, little Bon Jovi. That's always fun. I love when I can sing stuff that's like super unexpected and people are like, well, holy shit, didn't see that coming.
Right.
So that one's fun. House of the Rising Sun is another one that I've been doing since I started my career. It's usually one I close with that fans aren't expecting. It's my husband's favorite. And people are, the number of times I've been asked if I was previously in a rock band, like it's kind of crazy. But I love Southern rock and like a little bit of blues and stuff. So I try to incorporate some of that into my set.
Yeah.
So anything that's kind of like big and like unexpected, I always really love doing.
That's awesome. Is there maybe like one of your original songs that like when you like it comes along in the set, you're like, oh, I love this song. Like, yes. Is there one of your own? Yeah.
Yes. I love playing Jesus in Jail.
Okay.
That's one that I've just always loved. It's really high energy. People get a kick out of it. And it's just a fun one to play. I love playing it with the band too.
Yes. Yeah, always better. And they can check Jesus in Jail out online, right? You have it out on Spotify.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
Y'all go stream it. It's a fun one. I love it. Do you have any kind of like a pre-show ritual, like something you do just before you're like, oh, time to hop on stage. Let's go.
It's pretty boring, but like I always do my vocal warm-ups. So, you got to do those. And then I'll run through like 2 songs after I'm done. But I always have a cough drop, but I don't do it right after I'm done doing my vocal warm-ups. I do it 5 minutes before I'm supposed to start singing. I don't know why, but I just feel like it helps open the sinuses and things of that nature. So it's nothing exciting. It's just like something that like for me, like mentally, if I don't have it, I'm like, oh no. Like,
yeah.
So it's nothing like super cool, but
I actually love that you said that. So I haven't done it forever, but I would say probably in the past, I would say 2 to 3 years, I actually do the cough drop thing too.
Yeah.
So like in the car, like I warm up, I usually will sing through like a song or 2 or whatever. And then I keep cough drops like in the car, in my gig bag. There's some right here in the office. They're everywhere. And I always will put one in before I'm about to sing. Like, and I don't know why, but I do feel like it makes a big difference.
It helps me. Yeah. I feel like my warm-ups, like, this is going to be weird or gross, but like, I feel like, it makes everything like, it loosens everything up.
Yeah.
So like when you put a cough drop in, it kind of clears it out.
I think you make sense.
Probably like, Jesus, Taylor.
Yeah.
But like, this is life on the road.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel better, when we, just before we filmed our episode that will be coming out with Crystal King, and her and I were talking about poop. So you talking about clearing the throat is probably nothing. So,
Why does that not shock me that that's what you talked about with her?
We're just talking about life, okay? That's all we're here doing.
And that's the thing. Like, road life can be, not glamorous. It's fun, but there are parts of it where you're like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So you mentioned like, cough drops and all that. So when you're out touring, you're traveling, you're on the go, you're, playing show after show, what are some other things that you personally like to do to kind of help your, just like your mental health and your physical health and just things that kind of help you stay grounded and kind of feeling your best while you're out there grinding it out?
Yeah. So when we're like on long trips or just anything that's kind of, a few days, I try to find my closest gym. I'm a Planet Fitness girl. So I feel like, staying fit and exercising is just really important for the lungs and to just, the stamina. Cause I don't think people realize this, but singing is using a muscle. It is just like any other muscle in the body. And if you don't keep it healthy and keep the rest of your body healthy, like singing 3 to 4 hour shows can be really draining, so just trying to keep your health, as good as you can on the road. I drink a ton of water, taking a nap when I can. If I have someone else with me, I always, I'm passenger princess and I take a nap because like I'm weird. Like the car is one of the very few places that I can actually like fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So when we're on like long road trips and stuff, I'm like, wake me up when we get there. I don't know. Just, good nutrition, I think is important. Don't get me wrong. I love my sweets, hence the, peanut M&Ms and stuff.
Right.
I think just, having a healthy, balanced diet is really important for me, when I'm on the road. And, just trying to stay sane. Sometimes if I'm freaking out, I'll call my husband because he has this odd way of calming me. Which don't tell him I said that.
You want me to edit that part out of this podcast, right? Yeah.
I'll let him know he's helpful. But no, like there are times where like I can get overwhelmed or there's just like a lot going on. Where like, or if like I'm driving and I'm touring and like I get lost, like that gives me major like anxiety. I do not like driving places that I don't know. So like I'll call him and he's like, it's okay. Just breathe. It's gonna be fine. Where are you? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's like almost anyone else will just make it worse. So I think like just having someone that you can talk to, no matter what the situation is always good for mental health. And I'm very big on like, I don't know if this is necessarily a mental health thing, but back to like the ritual things. Like I pray a lot. I pray whenever I hit the road. I pray before I step on stage. I pray when I get off stage. Like I am just very much like, I feel like having a good faith or just good like foundation in your faith is really helpful.
Yes.
Especially for a career that like is very, you never know what's going to happen. You just kind of have to give it to God and let it be. So
preach, ma'am, preach. Yeah. Yes. No, absolutely. I cannot agree more with that. Yeah. It's I think that's honestly prayer, especially when you're trying to do this, is probably one of the most needed things that I feel like I'm like, oh, I think y'all should do it. Y'all need Jesus because you don't even know what y'all are in for. Like, yeah, it's a treat. So clearly you have played hundreds, if not thousands of shows. You've played so many. Is there maybe like one that just immediately comes to mind though, where you're like, man, I think that was like my favorite show of all time. Like just something about it that just sticks out where you're like, that's the best one.
Oh man, that's really hard. Because like you said, I've played hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of shows for the amount of time I've been doing this. But one that always comes to the forefront is back in, I think it was 2023. I had just released Jesus in Jail and we went to Lake Wapapello in Missouri and we got to perform for Freedom Jam Fest,
cool.
Which is a fantastic festival. They help raise money for veterans and their families to help them with like their education and stuff like that. And they help first responders as well. And it was my first time being able to play with like a true Nashville band. And it was just like amazing. It was so much fun. The band was incredible. We all just like clicked instantly. The crowd was great. Everyone knew I was a whiskey girl. So like there were like a bunch of veterans like bringing me whiskey shots to the stage and stuff.
Nice.
And, like we were taking them together. It was just like a really great community of people supporting such a great cause, and just being able to like, I play a ton of acoustic shows, and but when you get to play with your band and everything just clicks and like it's high energy and you're just having an absolute blast, it almost just like flashes before your eyes. That's just been like one of my absolute favorite shows I've played. But there's so many, it's hard to pick. Right.
Yeah. I love that though. It sounds like, you know, clearly it was a great show, but also it was for a great cause. I mean, so
yeah.
It's so special. I love that. So let's talk about gear that you bring on the road. You know, I know you're saying you do mostly acoustic shows, but like, what do you bring? You know, like what kind of guitar is your go-to? Do you bring a microphone? Like what do you bring when you pull up to a venue to play a show?
Well, my husband says I pack my entire house. He's like, why do you need all of this stuff? But I'm the girl who like, and this might just be me, like I like to over prepare for things. So like I always bring 2 guitars just in case.
Yeah.
This is one of them. This is my Ibanez. It's my little blue guitar. Everyone calls it my UK blue guitar. But I also have a J45 that I use a lot. It was a gift from my husband. So I use that for majority of my shows. But I've just kind of started pulling this one back out. It's a little lighter and easier to play on the belly.
Yes, right.
But like, you know, I bring my whole sound system. We've got 3 speakers, the Yamaha board, nothing like super like gear fancy, like pedals and stuff like that. Just cause like for me, I'm still trying to learn all that. I'm a vocalist before I'm a guitarist. So that's just kind of my thing. I'm trying to think. I mean, I've played around with so many different vocal mics. Like I have a few, like, I mean, everyone knows they're tried and true, the SM58s. Everyone's had like one of those, but I have a new one. I think it's a Shure mic that I've been using that I really like.
Is it a KSM8 by chance?
Yeah. Oh, I
okay.
Can't think.
Because
I got one and I can't think.
She's like, I'm done. No, I have a Shure KSM8 and it's a fantastic vocal mic. It's great.
I love it. I can't think of what it is. My husband got it for me as well. He is a big like gear person. So he's not in the music industry, but he plays guitar and he plays it really well. But he like does all of his research and stuff. He's in IT, so he likes all that kind of stuff. So he has set up my office where like the speakers are equally spread to where it hits your ear correctly. And like I came home from tour and he had done this and like set up my whole office, and he was like, and this does this and this does this. Like he's very into it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna play.
Yeah.
He's like, there's things to learn, and I'm like, I'll eventually learn.
Yeah, right.
But no, I love, you know, and he's always like trying to buy me a new guitar, and he's like, you need to get better at guitar before I buy you another one. I'm like, okay. Like, you know, but no, I think, I mean, I always have like, what is it? Like my capos. I love a good, what are they called? Man, my pregnancy brain. The Kaiser capos. These are
yeah.
These are the best. And it's blue for UK blue, you know.
Represent. Come on.
Yeah. So like nothing like crazy fancy or anything, but I'd say my guitars are probably like my fancy items.
That's awesome though. I love it. Well, Taylor, thank you so much for being here and for coming on to hang out with us. Yes. Absolutely. This has been so much fun. Really quick, tell people though, in case, because I know they're going to want to, where they can check out your music, tour dates, follow you on the socials, all that stuff. Where can they find you?
Yes. So first place is go to my website, taylorhughesmusic.com. Go subscribe. It's free and it's a great way to stay connected with me if, God forbid, the Instagram land were to go away or TikTok were to go away. And I send out a monthly newsletter that lets you know when I have new music coming, where I'm touring, if there's any other exciting news going on, like awards, things like that. And then I'm on Instagram and Facebook at Taylor Hughes Music. I'm on the TikTok at, I believe it's Taylor Hughes Official. And then, but like all my social media is on my website as well. And then if you're looking for music, you can find me on any streaming or download platform everywhere. And it's just Taylor Hughes, which you can also find on my website. Website is the best place to go.
Yes. I always tell the horrible joke when people, ask like, where can they find you, Ash? And I'm like, ashtaylor.com, because I always joke that there's everything on that website, but my blood type. I mean, like,
yeah, literally. Right?
If you want to know anything about me, just go to the website, guys. Yes, go to the website. Yes. That's awesome. Well, guys, listen, you need to go check out Taylor. You need to give her a follow, stream her music, and go see her on the road. Go. If you're in Texas, look ahead. Go get some shows. If you're in Nashville, wherever, but go support her. Go see her at a show. Show her some love. But Taylor, thank you so much again for being here. This has been a lot of me. No, thank you, my friend. And if you're listening to this podcast, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment. I've really enjoyed this conversation. So if you have to, comment down below, tell us what you loved about it. Leave your thoughts and all below. We'll go back and check them out. But thank you everyone again so much. I will see you guys next time further on down the road. Bye everybody. God bless.